The first time the mirror showed her a dead person, she thought it was a dream, because the woman staring back at her was smiling, but her eyes were empty. And 3 days later, that woman was found dead. At first, she told no one. Because how do you explain something like that? That your reflection isn't always yours. That sometimes, when you look into the mirror, you see someone else. Someone who isn't supposed to be there. Someone who won't be alive much longer. This is the story of Amara, the girl who stopped trusting mirrors. Too late. Amara was 21. Quiet. Observant. The kind of person who noticed things others ignored. Small changes. Strange silences. The feeling that something wasn't right. She lived with her older sister in a modest home on the edge of town. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable, normal, until the mirror changed everything. It was an old mirror, tall, narrow, framed with dark wood that had started to crack at the edges. It had belonged to their mother. No one remembered when it was brought into the house. It had just always been there, standing quietly in the corner of Amara's room, watching. The first time it happened, Amara had just woken up. The room was dim, morning light barely touching the floor. She stood in front of the mirror, brushing her hair absent-mindedly. Then she paused, because the reflection didn't match. The face staring back at her was not hers. The woman in the mirror looked close to her age. Same skin tone, same general features, but different. Her lips were stretched into a slow, unnatural smile, and her eyes were hollow, not blind, not closed, just empty. Amara blinked, stepped back, looked again. This time, it was her. Normal, alive, breathing. She laughed nervously, shook her head. Just a dream, she whispered. But something in her chest didn't agree. 3 days later, the woman appeared again. Not in the mirror, but outside, lying still, surrounded by people, covered in cloth. Amara stood frozen in the crowd, because she recognized her immediately. It was the same woman from the mirror. That was when the fear began. Not loud, not obvious, but quiet, creeping, unavoidable. Amara stopped looking into the mirror as often, avoided it when she could, turned her face away when passing by. But curiosity is a dangerous thing. A week later, she looked again. This time, it was a man, older, with a scar across his cheek, standing exactly where her reflection should have been. He didn't smile. He just stared, like he was waiting. 2 days later, he was dead, found near the market. Same scar, same face, same eyes. Amara didn't sleep that night. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't stress. It wasn't her imagination. The mirror was showing her something. Not the present, not the past, but something far worse. Everyone she saw in the mirror ended up dead. Soon, very soon, Amara tried to ignore it, tried to live normally. But every time she passed the mirror, she felt it, pulling her, calling her, like it wanted her to look again, like it needed her to see. One night, unable to sleep, Amara stood in front of the mirror again. Her hands trembled. Her breath shallow. "Just me," she whispered. "Let it just be me." Slowly, she lifted her eyes and froze. Because this time, the person staring back at her looked exactly like her. Same face, same eyes, same features. But there was one difference. The reflection was not breathing. Amara couldn't move. Her body locked in place. Her eyes fixed on the mirror. The girl staring back at her was her. Same face, same hair, same everything. But something was wrong. The reflection wasn't breathing. Amara's chest rose and fell rapidly. But the girl in the mirror stayed still. Perfectly still. Like a photograph. Like a body. "No," Amara whispered. Her voice trembled. "No, no, no." She stepped back quickly. And the reflection didn't follow immediately. Just a slight delay. A fraction of a second. But enough. Enough to confirm it. Her heart pounded violently. This wasn't someone else anymore. This wasn't a stranger. This wasn't a warning about another life. This was her. Amara raised her hand slowly. The reflection followed. This time, perfectly. She leaned closer. Eyes searching. Desperate. "Say something," she whispered. The reflection didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe. Then, slowly, unnaturally, the reflection smiled. Amara gasped and stumbled back. Because she hadn't smiled. The room went still again. Too still. Amara turned away sharply. "I'm not looking at it again," she muttered. "I'm not." But she stopped. Because deep down, she already knew. Looking wouldn't change anything. The next day, Amara didn't leave her room. Didn't eat. Didn't speak. She sat on her bed, staring at the mirror from a distance. Watching it. Waiting. As if it might move on its own. By evening, fear had turned into something else. Need. If the mirror showed death, then maybe it could show more. Maybe it wasn't just a warning. Maybe it was a message. Slowly, she stood. Walked toward the mirror again. Each step heavier than the last. Her reflection appeared normal at first. Alive. Breathing. Her. Amara exhaled shakily. Relief washing over her. And then, it flickered. Just for a second. Like a glitch. Her reflection changed. Back to that same version of her. Still. Silent. Not alive. Amara's throat tightened. "It's not showing the future," she whispered. Her voice barely audible. "It's showing the end. Not a possibility. Not a chance. An outcome." Tears filled her eyes. Her legs gave way as she sank to the floor. "I'm going to die," she said softly. But the words didn't feel real. Not yet. Then something shifted. Something subtle. Something terrifying. She looked closer at the reflection. Really looked. And that's when she noticed it. The reflection wasn't just still. It wasn't just lifeless. It was watching her. Not with eyes, but with awareness. Like it knew she was there. Like it was waiting. A thought crept into her mind. Cold. Unwelcome. Impossible. "What if," she whispered. "That's not me in the future." Her breath shook. What if that's me? She swallowed hard. After, the air in the room felt heavier. The mirror darker. Deeper. Like it wasn't just reflecting anymore. Like it was holding something. Amara stepped closer again. Without thinking. Without deciding. Drawn. Her hand lifted slowly, reaching toward the glass. Her reflection did the same, but slower, like it was lagging behind reality. Her fingers hovered just inches away, trembling, afraid, but unable to stop. "Tell me," she whispered. "What happens to me?" For a moment, nothing. Then suddenly, the reflection moved first. Its hand pressed flat against the glass. Before hers did. Amara froze. Her eyes widened in pure terror. Because that meant it wasn't following her anymore. Amara's breath caught in her throat. Her hand was still hovering in the air. But the reflection had already touched the glass. Flat. Still. Waiting. "No," she whispered. Her voice barely existed. Slowly, hesitantly, she pressed her own hand forward until her palm met the mirror. The moment her skin touched the glass, everything went silent. Not quiet. Silent. Like sound itself had been pulled out of the room. Amara's eyes widened. Because the surface of the mirror was no longer solid. Her hand sank into it. Slowly. Like water. Cold. Heavy. Wrong. She tried to pull back. But she couldn't. Something on the other side was holding her. The version of her in the mirror tilted its head slightly. Not curious. Not confused. But expectant. Then, it pulled. Amara gasped as her arm was dragged deeper into the mirror. Her shoulder followed. Her body resisted. But her strength meant nothing. The room around her began to distort. Stretch. Fade. As if it was never real to begin with. And then, she was through. Amara collapsed onto a cold, dark surface. Gasping. Shaking. The air felt thick. Heavy. Unnatural. She pushed herself up slowly. And froze. Because she wasn't alone. All around her were people. Dozens of them. Standing. Still. Silent. Each one facing forward. Each one empty. Her heart dropped. She knew them. The woman from the first day. The man from the market. Others she had seen in passing. All of them. The ones the mirror had shown her. All of them. Dead. They're not reflections, Amara whispered. Her voice echoed strangely in the dark. There. Her words caught. Because the truth was already forming. They are trapped. Slowly. She turned around. And there, standing behind her, was herself. The same version. The one that hadn't been breathing. "Please," Amara said, her voice breaking. "Let me go." The other her didn't move. Didn't react. Didn't feel. Because it wasn't alive. Not anymore. And then, Amara understood. The mirror didn't predict death. It didn't warn anyone. It didn't try to help. It simply showed who was next to join them. The reflection stepped forward. And for the first time, it blinked. A slow, human blink. Then, it breathed. Amara's chest tightened violently. Because at that exact moment, Her own breath stopped. Her body froze. Her limbs went heavy, like something had been taken from her and given to it. The reflection. No. The new Amara looked down at her hands, flexed her fingers, turned toward the mirror. Alive. Amara tried to speak, to scream, to move. But she couldn't. Because she was no longer the one in control. She was no longer the one outside. On the other side. In the real world. The mirror stood quietly in the corner. Unchanged. Still. Silent. And in it, Amara now stood. Motionless. Watching. Waiting. Her lips trembled slightly, as a tear rolled down her frozen face. And in a voice no one could hear, she whispered, "I thought the mirror showed the dead." A pause. Then, soft, broken, "I didn't know it makes room for them." If you enjoy African stories, folklore, myths, and legendary tales, this channel is for you. Subscribe to African Savannah Tales for new African folktales and storytelling videos every week, and explore the wisdom, mystery, and magic of Africa's timeless stories.